I'm not sleeping with no man until all my bills paid, until I don't have to work no more. If you give it up without that, they gonna think you worth $200 every time you sleep with them. No, all bills paid. I don't work no more if you sleeping with me. Period. I need 6 months worth of bill paid in my account. If you want a commitment from me, then it's gonna cost you a lot. 10K plus. You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting ready to take myself off the market. We ain't. If I need more money from you and you need somebody to sleep with you or whatever, then it's gonna be a large amount. Like I'm not sleeping.
Yo, listen, when you make things transactional, then you have to understand that a lot of that power is shifted to the one that can actually pay it. If this is what your demands are, and we'll just leave it at that, those are fine. We'll just say those are fine. I think they're ridiculous, but let's say they're fine. Just on the record, I think they're ridiculous. But let's say that's fine. Then there's a small portion of men that can actually do that. So then they're writing the ticket. They're coming in and saying, okay, I can do this. This is what I need from you. Or they can simply say, you're not worth that type of investment. This is when you make things transactional, you have to understand that now it's just a buyer and seller's game. It's a buyer and seller's game. And when men are put in position, most men are put in position where it's a transactional thing to sleep with you, that's all it's ever going to be. When you raise the stakes, when you say, in order for this to happen, I need all my bills paid, you can literally see the state of play that dating is in right now. This is what it's became. This is where we are right now. And the more people listen to this, the more people buy into this, the more they're just going to come on here and rant and rave about the dating pool having piss in it. So, guys, before we continue, before we run this one back, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss uploads, and let's do this one again.
With no man until all my bills paid, until I don't have to work no more. If you give it up without that, they gonna think you worth $200 every time you sleep with them. No.
The fact that they're going to have a dollar amount to say that you're equal to is where you initially just going to lose the entire game. If it comes down to if then that, then it's just transaction. And men are very good at just being cold and transactional. That's what you need in order for me to get what I want. Okay, cool. Then I'm moving on. If I'm even going to engage in this, most men are just going to look and say, you sound like you lost it, especially as the older you get, as you have more and more kids, as you're not, men are just going to say, you're not worth that type of amount at all. I don't know who's taken this advice, and it's really they're internalized. I know it's being internalized. That's essentially the problem. That's essentially why I wanted to make this video. There's plenty of content out there. At the crux of it, of having women say, if you can take an example, a lesson away, they're saying, women, you should value yourself more. You should value your body more. You should value the exchange of sex more. But it's quickly thrown off the path when it becomes one of a monetary gain. When have him do this so you can get this. If that's the way you want to exist, then you have to pay attention to what the men are saying. And men of means are saying, yeah, they'll never engage in something like this. Or they're going to engage in this when you see like the sugar baby, sugar mom, you see those situations, or the sugar daddy, excuse me. Those situations, it's usually with young college age women. They're not doing this for middle age older women. They're not going to say 10K makes sense to pay all your bills in order to sleep with you. If you want to have a society in that, what women as older women, they're just going to find themselves priced out. They're going to price themselves out the market because men are just going to say, okay, if I have to pay to get access to sex, any sex, they're just going to say, all right, this is what I want. If you're looking to do this in order to entice a certain man into a relationship, I'm telling you, this is across the board in mass. Of course, you can find exceptions, anecdotal exceptions against this, but in mass, you're just going to increase your likelihood of being alone. If your goal is to be alone, do this. If your goal is to extract money from a man, there's probably better ways, right? If you bring some sort of value to that man, yeah, then he's got no problem spending money on you. But when you start off with this, And you see so many examples of this, maybe not just as frank as this, but sometimes just as oblivious. Men are just going to smooth transition into that reactional sense. It's just a business agreement, and business is always cold. Business is always unemotional. And he's just going to say, what is the value proposition here? You don't want to get into that position with a man because it's very hard, almost impossible for you to transition from one to now being wife.
All bills paid. I don't work no more if you sleeping with me. Period.
Again, this sort of provision, that's you not working anymore. These are provisions reserved for wives, not someone that, hey, we met, hey, we attract each other, and in order for me to sleep with you, I have to pay all your bills so you no longer have to work. What type of sense is that? How often do relationships start and stop? Are you going to leave your job because you got in a relationship and the man said, okay, I'll pay your bills? Right. So you got in a relationship, he paid you, we started a relationship. I paid your bills for 6 months and you quit your job. We don't last 3 months. Do you now have to go back to the job market? Do you now have to look for another thing and another thing, relationship to relationship? What type of resume? What type of resume? Let's be cognizant of the type of economic society we find ourselves in right now. Jobs are scarce, well-paying jobs even more so. People that want that six-figure salary want to be with someone that's making six figures while you have lost your job. What sense does this sort of advice make? And of course, if you go to the comment sections, you see so many people just completely wholeheartedly supporting this. I get it in an aspirational sense. Who doesn't want to be comforted and taken care of? But in reality, this is just not. This is just not it. This is not just this. This doesn't work. This is not happening. This is a problem when we put these things out here on the internet. People consume them, people internalize them, and sometimes because they never had a value system on their own, they simply adopt what is popular. They take that and they take that as gospel. They take that, it's something that hasn't been actually stress tested in their own lives. They haven't walked out and tried this and realized, yeah, this is not real. But imagine the next man you meet is the one that could be for you. And you start this, you espouse these beliefs that you don't really even believe in because you don't have any real world experience in doing this. But you took it from someone that was popular. You took it from someone that had hundreds of thousands of people in the comment section supporting her. And you took that and you ran with it. How quickly will you run that person off that could have been your person? Why bother to even attempt something like this? I think it's always better for us to actually get out there, be patient, be graceful, and understand that that other person is just trying to do the same thing you are. They're trying to actually build a life together with someone. And the best way to do that is being yourself, holding to your own values that you have developed, that you have seen, instead of adopting someone else's who, believe it or not, is so far removed from your situation, who probably and realistically hasn't used these things to get where she is. But it's easy to sell it to you. We see so many different other influences, so many different other uh, creators in this space, psychiatrists and psychologists, not living the type of things that they're telling you. The type of advice, even if it worked for her, even if that's her situation, do you really think that's going to work for you? And if you do, I think you should just pay attention to the state of dating today. Pay attention to the state of transactional dating today. And you let me know what you think.